You know what you wrote?
So tonight's sponsor for Dvar Malchus is Rav Shai Miara from Fort Lauderdale, Beis Mashiach. May he, B'ezrat Hashem, b'toch Klal Yisrael, live to see the Rebbe Melech HaMashiach b'toch Brius V'Erachava. And Rabbi Meir Shimon will give us the fares to. Am I saying it right, Meir Shimon?
Yeah, exactly.
First to Isis, Dvar Malchus, Shmois. Go ahead, Meir.
All right, fine. So this parsha.
I saw. I can rewrite it. I saw it. I'm the
This week's Torah reading, we begin the new Chumash from the Shmois, and it starts off saying these are the names of the children of Israel who are coming down to Egypt. Now the Midrash says like this. The Midrash says that the children of Yaakov is actually mentioned here in connection with the Geula, the redemption. And it goes on to list, it goes through each one of the names of the 12 tribes and explains how their name has some connection to the idea of Geula, redemption. Alright, that's what it says in the Midrash. So the obvious question is, what's going on? What does it mean that when the Yidden are not going into Mitzrayim, this has a connection to the Geula, the redemption? Seemingly, the redemption is only much time later. They're only starting now the exile, coming into Mitzrayim. That's what we're speaking about in the parsha. The Geula speaks about much later. It doesn't speak about it in this week's parsha. It doesn't either speak about it in the next parsha, Parshas Vayera. It speaks about it in the middle of the next parsha, Parshas Vayera. So how is the Medrash saying that over here they are mentioned over here in connection with the Geula? It's just the opposite of what it's speaking about here. Okay. So now the Rebbe brings another Medrash, which over there we found a similar idea about connecting the Shvatim coming down to Mitzrayim to the Geula. But there it says like this. When it speaks about the names of the Shvatim, Reuven, Shimon, and they came down to Mitzrayim, so that was actually the merit how they were able to leave Mitzrayim. Why was that? Because it says that the Jewish people in Egypt, it was a big downfall for them. I'm saying spiritually speaking, a lot of them were affected by the Egyptian lifestyle. But there were a few things that they didn't change. And one of the things that didn't change is their names. Right? When it speaks about the Jews going into Egypt, it says Reuven and Shimon and all the Hebrew names. In the same way, they left out of Egypt also with Reuven and Shimon and all the Hebrew names. So, according to that, it also comes out that, in this parsha, we're talking about the names of the children of Israel coming to Egypt. We also see the merit why they were going to be redeemed from Mitzrayim and have the Geula. But here, it makes actually sense because we're not actually saying that when they're coming down right now is the redemption. It's just that that throughout the whole time of their being in Egypt, they kept their names. That was the merit. But afterwards, they should have redemption. But what is questionable, and we're going to need to explain, is the first Medrash which we brought earlier, which said that they were actually mentioned in connection with the Geula. That's seemingly a contradiction to the simple meaning of the passage. And then another question is that even if we're going to explain somehow how even when they're coming down to Egypt, there's some connection to the redemption. Why is that relevant? And why does it have to stress that? Now, the Rebbe is going to go on to bring this question much, much stronger. So far, we're asking, in general, about they're going down to the exile of Egypt. How are we connecting that to their redemption from Egypt? But in truth, the Medrash says a lot more than that. If you look into the details, it goes through all the different names, explaining the connection to the Geula. So when it comes to the name Yosef, what's the connection between Yosef and the Geula? So Yosef literally means to add. And the way the Medrash explains that is, that's actually referring to the future redemption that we're all awaiting, that Hashem will then add and redeem us again from this present exile, just as He redeemed the Jews from Egypt. And it brings down a pasuk where it says the word Yosef, V'haya v'yemahu, will be on that day that Yosef, Hashem Sheinis Yada, Hashem will again, redeem the Jewish people. So that just makes this question stronger. Why are we connecting their descent into the exile of Egypt, not only with the redemption from Egypt, but we're even connecting it to the future redemption, which is much, much time after the Exodus from Egypt, and definitely much time after this parsha, which is when they're only going down to Egypt in the first place. So that's the main question of the Sikha. What's going on over here? What's the connection of going down to Mitzrayim and the Geula, which is going to happen much later? And then another question which the Rebbe always asks is, you know, this is a part of Torah, which Torah comes to the Meirah, it's a blessing. So just like it is regarding all parts of Torah, it's a lesson for us. So what can we learn nowadays, thousands of years after they come into Egypt and after the Exodus from Egypt? How does it apply to us? I think it's
Good. That was the question. Thank you, Mayor. At the end of the day, like Mayor said, the question is, they're going down to Mitzrayim. Why do you say they're going into Geula?
I don't really need any more.
No, they're going into Geula. The Rebbe is saying, the Midrash is saying Geula Stam, without mentioning Geula from Mitzrayim. Geula Stam means, in other words, the Torah is not saying they're going to go out of Mitzrayim. The Torah is saying that they're going to go out indefinitely. So the Rebbe is saying, the Torah is very accurate. If the Torah doesn't specify going out of Mitzrayim, that means they're going into Geula, the last Geula. So the Rebbe is saying that they're going down to Mitzrayim now. And the Midrash is saying they're actually going into Geula, which means to the last Geula, the Geula Mitzrayim. How could that be? No matter how nice you want to be or how nice you want to make it sound, or if you're talking about the future, but now the Poyo, they're going down to Egypt. What does that have to do with redemption, Geula? Give me an answer now. And the Rebbe explains the Midrash. Really, honestly, nobody can fight, can satisfy this question except for the Rebbe. Not for the Rebbe, this would be totally with a question mark until Mashiach comes. But the Rebbe knows the Torah. Not only does the Rebbe know the Torah, the Rebbe is the Torah. Torah is Moshe. The Rebbe is not just a representative, a genius, a giant Torah scholar. We know what the Rebbe is. So the Rebbe goes on to explain an unbelievable explanation. The Rebbe brings down, there's a Mishnah that says, the Rabbi Lazar ben Azariah. You heard of his name, it's a Mishnah in Brachos. Rabbi Lazar ben Azariah says, Lo zachisi shetehamer yitzias Mitzrayim b'leilis. I never had the merit to hear, to mention, the Exodus, the Yitzias Mitzrayim at night, during the night. In other words, the Amoraim, the Tanaim, was he an Amora or a Tana? I think it was a Tana. Tonight we're arguing when you can mention, it's a Mishnah, when you can mention Yitzias Mitzrayim. During the day, or during the night, or both. So Rabbi Lazar was saying during the night as well. Up until then, they would mention it once a day during the day. The Chachamim came and said, Kol Yamei Chayecha. Not only will you mention it during the night and during the day, but also they're not arguing in Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. They're just adding that when Mashiach will come, we'll also mention Yitzias Mitzrayim. That's the Mishnah. Through this, we'll have an answer to the Midrash we just mentioned before. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was just 18 years old. And he became the president of the Jewish people, the leader of the Jewish people, like the Rebbe now. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was when he was 18 years old. Unbelievable. Rabbi Gamliel was the head of the Sanhedrin, the head of the Jewish court. He was then, before him, he was a leader, and they dismissed him. They detained him. They moved him away. And they put Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who was only 18 years old, instead of him. Incredible. And since he did not have white hair, he was only 18, Hashem made a miracle so people will give him more respect. And overnight, his hair became white. So everyone saw, this is totally miraculous. This man, not only does he know the whole Torah, he's only 18 years old, but we have to give him respect. Look at the miracle that just happened to him. His hair became white overnight, so he will gain more respect from people around him. When he speaks Torah, people will listen. So Rabbi Elazar was saying like this, and the Rebbe is asking a few questions on this. First of all, that's the day that he was appointed It's the very day that he said this Mishnah, that I want to add that you have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim, the Exodus of Egypt, during the night as well. What does that have to do with the day that he was appointed to be a Nasi, to be a leader of the Jewish people? It has to be that the day that he was appointed has a connection to the Mishnah, to what he said that day. That's number one. That's the first question. And the second question, the Rebbe is saying, we said the Chachamim added that we will also mention Yetzias Mitzrayim when Mashiach comes. And why is that? When Mashiach will come, the light of Mashiach will be so great. We will be, even the holidays, Yom Tov, Pesach, Sukkot, Shavuos, will look like regular days. Do you realize this? They will look like regular days, like they say that the holidays will be totally normal. It will not be holidays. Now the Rambam explains, God forbid, not to say that it will not be holidays. If you take away from the Torah, if you add anything to the Torah, you're a total heretic, you're a kafir. For sure, Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot will be celebrated, but their celebration will look like a regular Sunday and Monday, like a regular day. It will not look anything big, no big deal. Why? Because of the light of Geula. The light of Geula will be so immense, so strong, that will make the holidays look like regular days. So if that's the case, also by Yetzias Mitzrayim, why will we mention, why do you have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim leaving Egypt when Mashiach will come? When we left Egypt, we left it. There was another exile, destruction of the first temple, destruction of the second temple, now we're waiting for the third temple. But when Mashiach comes, there will not be any exile anymore. Leaving Egypt will look like nothing compared to when Mashiach comes. But we have to mention it when Mashiach comes. And the Rebbe gets into the answer right now. This will answer our first question. Why do we say that we're going into redemption or we're going down to Egypt? Why do we say that? Why do we say that this is actually Geula? That's the big question. We're going to answer all these questions right now. We're going to get a complete picture. The Rebbe says, it comes out from three sages over here. And we have to mention the Exodus of Egypt in three ways. During the day, during the night, and when Mashiach will come. The day, light, resembles good times. Resembles spiritually, when a Jew is on a good stand with Hashem, it's easy for him, it's light. Light is just about everything is good, everything is going fine. Don't have to bother with any fighting with the Yetzer Hara. That's what, like when the first temple was standing. Everyone was good, everyone did everything. המלך was sitting on his throne. It was the best time. Similar to what is going to be when Mashiach comes. That's the first opinion. You have to say, you have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim during the day. During the day is easy. During night in Galus, when it's hard, when it's dark, there's more revelation. There's no godliness. Like right now, we don't see the Rebbe. Even though the Rebbe is here physically, 100%. The Rebbe is here with us, not a question. This is the last test we have to stand through, guys. You're leaving, the Rebbe is here. This is the last test. This is what the Rebbe wants us to stand strong on our feet and believe. That's what the Rebbe wants from us right now. The last test is Emunah. That's night. Nighttime is exile. Nighttime is dark. When you don't see darkness, you don't see anything. Then we have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim. We have to mention leaving Mitzrayim as well. It's important to mention Yetzias. Why did Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah say this? When, oh my God, somebody took my phone. When, it's okay. When Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said you have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim at nighttime as well. He became the leader of the Jewish people, and this is during exile. Wow. The job of a leader is to connect Galus to Geula. Is to connect the leaving of Egypt, when you're going into Egypt, you're going into Galus right now. What is the job of a leader? The job of a leader that while you're going into Galus, he wants to tell you this is part of Geula. The question was, how come they're going into Mitzrayim right now, and the Midrash is saying they're going into Geula? What do you mean they're going to Geula? They're going to Mitzrayim, they're going to Galus. No. Part of Geula is Galus. Just like the word Geula. Geula and Goyla means exile. And Geula, and if you write it in Hebrew, you see Gimel, Vav, Lamed, Hey. That's Goyla, that's exile. But then Gimel, Aleph, we just add the Aleph. Gimel, Aleph, Vav, Lamed, Hey, then we have Geula, we have redemption. We did not take another separate word for redemption. We use the same word. 90%, 99% of the word is exile. We use exile. Only adding the Aleph makes it redemption, makes it Geula. So what do we see from here? The building blocks for Geula is Goyla. The way to reach redemption is through exile. Not just through exile, but the building blocks of redemption is exile. Goyla, just adding the Aleph makes Geula. That means all the building blocks, all the ingredients that make up this beautiful dish called Geula are the ingredients of Goyla, the ingredients of exile. By being here and doing the mitzvahs and going through the whole galus, that's how we reach Geula. By them going to Mitzrayim, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is saying, you're going into Geula right now. These are the building blocks when you're going through the 210 years. And all this whole journey that you're going to take afterwards is necessary in order to come to Geula. Without that, you will not be able to jump right into the wagon of Geula. It's impossible. So it comes out that Geula, redemption, the first stage in Geula is going down to Mitzrayim. It's not that we're trying to be nice and poetic and Shakespearean, like make it now sound nice. But guys, don't worry, chill out. You're going to go into Mitzrayim, you're going to have a good time, whatever. You're not going to have a good time, whatever. But it's part of it. It's part of it. We're not doing them a favor. We are saying here the truth. The fact is, this is part of Geula. Right now, we have to go through this stage number 1. Stage number 2 is you're going to go out of it, out of Mitzrayim. Then you're going to go into exile again. That's stage number 2. And number 3 is when everything's finished. So going to Mitzrayim is Al Shem Geula Israel Nikor that all the names of the Shvatim of the tribes were called on the name of Geula because they're going into Mitzrayim. That's the first. Just like last week he said that Yechezkel and Navi Hashem tells him that I had to destroy that second temple, the first temple and the second temple. I had to destroy them in order to build the third. I have to. How will I build the third if I don't destroy the second one first? So would you say the destruction of the second temple was just a destruction? No, it was phase number 2 in redemption. Without destroying the second temple, you cannot build the third. So do over here. They're going into Mitzrayim because this is phase number 1, and this is part and parcel of Geula. And that's why Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said this Mishnah. He became a leader. His job as a leader is to connect Geula to Geula, is to connect Galus, to show you how, while you are in Galus, you really are building up Geula, you really are part of Geula. Especially in our time, and we know right now, after all these years and all this time, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah already waited, and all the sages of all history, Jewish history, waited for this time. The Rebbe Mashiach will come and actually give us a prophecy, complete and clear prophecy. It's happening right now. It is happening right now in our generation. Our eyes will see Mashiach. Amen. So, what is the directive? The Rebbe spoke a little bit about the Rambam because Chaf Teves will be Shabbos. Chaf Teves is the yard side of the Rambam when the Rambam passed away. And the Rambam was the leader of the Jewish people. He also showed, like the darkness, like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said, you have to mention Mitzrayim, you have to mention Egypt while it's dark at night. So what did the Rambam do? Rambam was in Egypt. He was the doctor of the king. He wrote these whole pieces of the Rambam, the whole series of books that we know about the Rambam, the code of law, of Jewish law, was written in Egypt, in the darkest time. So he was the light of the Jewish people in the diaspora, and he showed all the Jewish people. The Rebbe said, what is directed from here? Chav Teves will be this Shabbos, and it's happening in Shmois. The Rebbe says we have to strengthen the learning of the Rambam. Now there's 3 ways to do it. We can do it by doing the mitzvahs, Sefer, it's called Sefer HaMitzvahs, the book of mitzvahs. That's the shortest version of that. Then if you want to go up the ladder, if you can't understand Hebrew so well, by the way, everything is translated into English, so you can do, if you can't do first 1 chapter, you can do just the mitzvahs. It's beautiful, guys. You read a mitzvah, it's divided like there's 2 or 3 mitzvahs every day. Don't want to do one chapter and don't want to do 3 chapters, which a lot of people do. Talking to myself, I had to jump on board as well. So the first one, like we had a Roshkia in the Yeshiva used to say, when you go like this, you're pointing at someone, you're pointing one finger, but there's 3 fingers pointing at you. See, that's like this. I'm pointing at everyone, hey, you have to, but the 3 fingers pointing at me, I have to do the Rambam also. So, at any rate, the first easiest way to do it is Sefer HaMitzvahs, the book of mitzvahs, then first chapter, 1 chapter a day, or 3 chapters a day. Thank you so much. Every Wednesday.